The number one show I know that we all agree on is Break the Bank with X Lurk and Dion.
Welcome back to another episode of the Break the Bank podcast. This is your boy Lurk. As always, I'm with the homie Dion. X decides to join us again. Finally got some free time. What's good, fellas? How's everything?
Living the dream, bro. Ready to shit on Bron.
Let's just get straight to it. Bron got swept for what, the second time in his career? Only other team to do that was the Warriors, right? Did they even get the sweep? Spurs, didn't the Spurs win 4-1? No, it was a sweep to Dan. Oh, yeah, right. The first time he went.
Yeah.
Nasty work. Third time in his career. I mean, this time he's 38 years old, but got swept in the Western Conference Finals. Nuggets on their way to their first championship in franchise history. But Bron, interesting comments after the loss, talking about he got to think about if he want to keep playing. X, let's start with you because you say you ready to shit on him. You see my background. I'm with the shits.
Look, he balled out in game 4, right? So I'm not going to say that they lost because of him. It's not even about anything on the court. It's just that statement is so premeditated. Like, that's why I hate Bron, man. Everything about him is so manufactured. It's like, yo.
I mean, but he's old as shit, and it do take a lot of work to prepare, bro, and to play at that level.
Fam.
So maybe it's something he's been thinking about. Maybe it's something he's been thinking about since the foot injury. Give the man the benefit of the doubt. Nah, all right, fuck it.
What are we talking about here? It's LeBron. And you think LeBron will retire without all the fanfare that comes with like a farewell season? You think he would give that up? Bro, he wants to be gifted boats and jet skis like Iverson was in his last season. Like, you're not walking away from that. He want the half-court ceremony for his last game in every arena. Like, come on, it's Bron we talking about. So I agree.
The Kobe tour giving out sneakers and jerseys.
Bro, we all saw this for what it is. I think it's an indictment of Anthony Davis, where he's kind of like, yo, either get me Kyrie, either trade Anthony Davis for like a real star, or get me the fuck out of here. And that's all it is. It's him trying, because when he signed that extension, he gave up all of his leverage, and now he's trying to fucking wrangle it back. That's all. And it's gross.
Dion, your opinion on the matter?
I mean, so I do think he's really hurt. Like, I do want to say that, but like, it doesn't really, Steph played on partially torn MCL in 16, and Cavs fans told me if you're on the court, you're healthy. So like, I really don't care too much that he's hurt. But
yeah, forget about the loss.
He still lost. But now that the dust has been settled, he's been swept, etc. Like, if you're Bron, I think he has a lengthy rehab in front of him. Like, I don't think he has an off season. You know what I mean? Like, I think we're looking at like surgery in the next week or two. Probably doesn't pick up a basketball till like August. Probably isn't like running full speed till like September. And that's just like a rough, like, what the fuck do I know? I'm not a doctor type shit, but like, just from watching him play, it doesn't feel like he's gonna have an off season. So if you're Bron, like, you got a good amount of rehab in front of you. Your kid's gonna play only 1 year of college basketball, right? Like, you have the rest of your life to watch him in the pros, but like, this is it for watching him play college basketball. I think the retirement stuff's like kind of real. Just because like, you saw he can still do it, right? Like, it in spurts. But what he needs in order to win a championship is like someone else to get him to that point, right? Like, it's like, you go get me 3 and I'll close this shit out. Like, you don't have to worry about anything game 5, 6, or 7, whatever case like the series is. Bron can handle that. But like, Bron can't go get you the first 3 anymore. So I think from his mental perspective, one, it was completely thought of before. Like, X is right. Like, one, he wants to change the narrative. Like, don't talk about me getting swept, talk about me retiring. And then 2, I think it's like, yo, if y'all don't get me help, I'm not going to spend 4 months rehabbing my foot, probably start the season like 80, 90%, have to work myself into shape, miss my kid playing his 1 year of college basketball just to come out here and lose again because we don't have the roster to do it. And like, running it back with corn-fed Reggie Jackson, Rui, and Jared Vanderbilt. Like, yeah,
yo, like, corn-fed Reggie Jackson is really an elite nickname, like, bro.
It's just not gonna work.
About AD. It's only about AD, right? When the reason why somebody like Kyrie is appealing to him is because there's spurts when Kyrie can just take over, let him do his thing, and LeBron don't got to do shit on offense for 5, 6 possessions in a row. AD's not an alpha. He's not that guy, right? You can't trust him to A, be on the court, and B, to consistently run your offense to him to where Bron can afford to pick his spots. Right now, LeBron is still needed to be as like the go-to, and he just wants somebody that can help alleviate him of the burden. That's all it is, and Anthony Davis just isn't that guy. AD is a number 2. LeBron would like to be a 2 or 3, but he's forced into still that number 1 role in key situations just because there's nobody else there.
I mean, but how much of that has to do with coaching and the front office and how this team has been
A zero.
put together?
Zero.
It's Anthony Davis.
Yeah, because like Bron said when they made the AD trade that AD's there to extend his career by him becoming a number 2. Those were his exact words.
You are right. He did say that. He said the whole point is so that he could eventually like transition into being the number 2 and AD taking the role.
And the reason, look, let's be honest. Management knows that Anthony Davis isn't that guy, which is why I think they were so hesitant to part with those picks, because originally the idea was we're going to get Bron towards the end of his prime, and it will naturally transition to where then Anthony Davis will be the featured guy, and then we'll just retool around Anthony Davis. At this point, can you feel confident you could build a championship title team by building around Anthony Davis? Absolutely not. Right? So now they're fucked. Right? And I think Bron is like, okay, he's not that guy. He's not the guy I'm going to hand the baton to. Shit, he may not even be the guy that I need going into next season. You know what I'm saying? So if there's an opportunity to turn him into somebody that can be a true alpha, then I think he pulls the trigger.
So here's my next question to both of y'all, right? So, Bron has this tendency, no matter where he's at, he's done this throughout his entire career. When shit get real and he feels like he can't win with this team and he not really trying to come back into this exact situation all over again, he get missing. And he has his team, he has Clutch in them, start scouting the NBA and doing their homework and their research to figure out what would be the best fit for him to go there now and have the assets to bring in who he really wants to come be the complementary pieces, right? So, do you think he's doing that right now, or he already has some place in mind that he wants to go to?
Honestly, I think I genuinely think there's like 3 options that all have the same possibility. I do believe he could retire tomorrow. Like, I really do think it's possible that he retires. I don't
even
think
with the fact, but even with the fact that he's made it very clear he wants to play with his son in the NBA.
Oh, I'm not saying he doesn't come back.
Okay.
To be fair, but I don't think it's a guarantee he plays next year, at least. Like, I do think like there's when I watch him play and you watch like the speed he goes at, how quickly he gets from like his first gear to second gear, how high he jumps. Like, I don't necessarily think it's a given he could even play next year, like from a health perspective, right? Like, and if he does, he probably shouldn't be starting the season. Like, he probably needs to be eased back into it. Like, he seems genuinely really hurt for the first time. Like, he's made up a ton of injuries. I agree. Like, he's made up a ton of injuries. Every time he loses, something else is wrong.
You don't think the groin injury was real his first year out there in LA?
No. No. I think he looked up and
he missed like 20. He missed like 25 games. Nah, they had a good record when he first got hurt.
They had like Lonzo in them. I think he knew that team like wasn't gonna be that team in a few months anyway. I'm sure it was real to an extent.
I mean, that's around the time where the whole "I want AD on my team" narrative started.
Yeah, I'm sure it was real to an extent. Like, I don't think it was like, I'm sure he got hurt at some point. Was it like, hey, you're gonna miss the rest of the year? Probably not. Like, probably not. But who genuinely is hurt as bad as they say? But I think he could retire. I think he wants Kyrie, right? Like, that's probably like the most realistic. Like, they get Kyrie, Bron comes back. Like, that's what he wants. If they don't get Kyrie, I think you get the option of like trade me to the Warriors or I'm gonna retire type of thing. And that's where things get interesting, is if they don't get Kyrie.
What's the pathway to Kyrie if they ain't got no bread?
I think they can just sign
a trade.
Nah, it
Can't
would
take
have
the
to be a
time.
signing trade. Nah, he's not gonna take no
Because
crazy
here's the thing:
L
either
financially.
they would have to let both Reeves and Rui leave, right?
Mhm.
So now that's the front office decision. Do we let Austin Reeves and Rui walk on what we think will be more team friendlier deals, or do we commit to Kyrie for what? A season? Will Kyrie even come over if you give him a 1+1? Probably not. You're gonna have to commit like a full, at least 3, probably 4 years to Kyrie for him to accept that contract. So, do you want to do that if you're LA? Give up on Rui and Austin Reeves with the knowledge that fucking Bron
Maybe,
is probably out of there after a
maybe,
year.
maybe they renounce Rui's bird rights, right? They release that cap hold, trade D'Lo. No, D'Lo's a free agent, right?
The deal is a free agent. I think there's a pathway to them
So
having both Reeves and Kyrie.
I mean, the
I
only way
think.
I could see it happening, I'm not a cap specialist, but they would have to free up cap space and sign Kyrie before Reeves gets a contract offer.
Well,
Because
that's the
Reeves is
easy. That's the
because
easy part.
Reeves is not gonna take that 50 mil contract when he could
But
get double that somewhere else,
yeah,
right?
no, that's the
So
easy part because
so it's get
the
so it's
league year
get
doesn't
Kyrie
start till the
first.
15th.
Yeah, so they gotta get Kyrie before Reeves signs on the dotted line anyway, because they still have to, because they have to sign Kyrie before they match that Reeves offer. If they
No,
match the Reeves offer without having Kyrie,
no,
they're fucked.
no,
Because
because
then he's
you
gonna be
no,
getting 25 mil.
no, you have
LeBron's
no
getting
idea what
what,
you're
30,
talking about.
40?
You have no idea what you're because the
Explain.
league year is on like the 15th of July or something like that. So like he's gonna sign like Reeves and Kyrie are both gonna sign during the moratorium period. Like every free agent signs during the moratorium period. So you
Uh-huh.
just send the Kyrie deal into the league before you send the Austin Reeves deal into the league.
They still gotta get that deal done first.
You got
The
like 2
question
weeks.
is, the question is, what's Reeves' cap hold?
Not that
Is
much, I don't think.
I'm gonna check
well,
right now. I'm gonna check right now.
I think
I
there's
don't
a
know what his
pathway.
cap hold is, but it shouldn't be that much because the most the Lakers could give him is 50 mil. That's the
So
whole
the
shit. Is
qualifying
that
offer is probably like 12 to 13, maybe. Because you get to give
that's
him
the
the
whole
qualifying offer.
yeah, because the whole shit with Reeves' situation is that another team can offer him more than what the Lakers can. So they have to wait till he ends up signing with someone else and then matching the offer.
Yeah. No, he's gonna get 4 for 90, but I think you can sign Kyrie and match Reeves. You would lose D'Lo, obviously, and you would lose Rui, obviously. And you'd probably have to trade Lonnie Walker, I would assume.
I think they're okay with losing D'Lo though.
Yeah. No, D'Lo's gone regardless.
so assuming that you have to extend the qualifying offer in order to retain his restricted
Yeah.
rights. So if the qualifying offer is 12 to 13 million,
Yo,
that
Reeves,
means that
no, bro. They good. You're right. They're good. His cap hold is 2.18 mil.
the way that they can freak it, but they
The
would have
cap
to have
hold
enough
is
cash.
the MLE is more than the cap hold, bro. They're good.
I think they can get
They're
Reeves
gonna
and
be
Kyrie.
they can definitely get Reeves and Kyrie. And then Rui's cap hold is only 7 mil. So they might be able to finesse it where they could get it all depends on what Rui's market is gonna be, as if they be able to get both. But you can't tell me Reeves don't have a market for that 100 mil contract the way he's been playing and how trigger happy front offices be, especially with this new TV deal they're about to get.
Nah, Reeves will get 100. I don't think it's a given Kyrie goes there though. Like I think like Phoenix makes sense. I also don't think it's a given he just leaves Dallas, right? Like he easily could be using the Lakers as
Wait, but
leverage to get more money from
does
Dallas.
Phoenix really make sense? Wasn't you talking about how they don't fuck with each other?
Yeah, yeah, I don't think they do, but I mean, if you're talking about maximizing his skill set, like Book, KD, and him
But would
makes
he
a lot
really
more
do it
sense.
if him and KD not fucking with each other?
I
They
mean,
would have to
you're
find a way to
you're
move past whatever they beefing about.
you're two adults, so like you got if you want to
We
win, you got to
talking
have
about NBA
conversations. So
players.
it's up to you. It's up to them, right? Like if it
Nah,
comes
yeah,
out
that's a
like, hey,
fact.
they didn't get Kyrie because KD and him couldn't make up, like that says more about KD and him than it does anything. Like you're two grown men.
We getting a little off track. X, did you say what you think Braun is doing right now? Like he has somewhere in mind, or is he scouting the league to see where he wants to go if he decides to jump ship?
I, honestly, I just think they lost belief in he can't. Right, Anthony Davis is clutch. Right, so I think that by floating, oh, LeBron might retire, then it might be the cover that management needs to get off AD, right? Because there's no way they move off AD and that doesn't look poorly on LeBron. You know what I'm saying? So I just think he's trying to maximize his options and have some sort of leverage. That's all it is. I don't think there's any chance that he doesn't play just because at this point, if anybody cares about legacy, it's LeBron. Now, that doesn't mean that he maybe starts the regular season healthy, but he may look at it like, yo, I may move into more of like a mercenary role. You know what I'm saying? And I may just want to go to a team 1 year at a time and just try to win rings. But because I think the idea of building around Anthony Davis, I just think that's just not going to happen. I think he sees that now.
Okay. So, final question before we move on from LeBron talk. What are the odds that LeBron is in the Lakers jersey next season? When the season starts, is LeBron on the Lakers?
85%, 90%.
I think he's on the team. I don't think he's playing. I
The
think
question
regardless,
is, what's the chance that he's in a different jersey? Because he might still be on the
No,
Lakers.
that goes in hand.
So,
I don't
If
think
I'm
he's
asking you what's the
playing.
odds he's in on the Lakers, is what are the odds that he's not a Laker next year? Because I think he plays. I don't think there's a chance he's retiring without a grand tour.
5 to 10% that he's not on the Lakers.
I think it's like, I think because of how injured I think he is, like truly, I think it's like 30 to 40% chance he's not on the Lakers next year, whether that's retiring or getting traded. Because
Okay.
I think the reason I think he can come to the Warriors is they would tell him, like, yo, go watch your kid play basketball for 3 months. Like, you don't have to play right away. And I don't know if the Lakers are going to do that. And can like the Lakers afford to do that? No. And I think that's the bigger issue is like, he's like, yo, I'm hurt like that. Like, bro was warming up at noon for games that start at 7. Like, something's wrong.
He's 38.
Nah, that means something's wrong. Like what that tells me is like he went in for treatment, warmed up, and then he had to get a million shots in between that warm up and when like the game started. And he probably needed a nap in between the shots and whatnot. Like not like basketball shots. I'm talking about like pain
Yeah.
meds.
No, I understand what you're saying. Now, whether it's the foot or not, like that dude is 38 years old. If I'm not mistaken, he just broke the record for the most minutes played in the playoffs. Hey, he just finished his 20th season. He's been in the playoffs almost every year of his career. He's gotten out of the first round in all of those years except one. Like he's played in the Olympics. He has a ton of wear and tear. He's never gonna not have to do that. He could not be playing hurt and he's still gonna be having to get ready and prepare and get in the training room and get some work done, massage, whatever, hours beforehand. Shit, even with Kobe was retiring, he's talking about he was getting up, what, 5 in the morning, stretching just for 45 minutes. Before he even leave his crib, he's stretching for 45 minutes. Like, these
Yeah, that
dudes, when you hit a certain age, bro, and you've dealt with a ton of injuries, whether they cost you to miss significant time or not, like, all that shit add up, especially a dude as big as Braun, who relied on his athleticism for so many years to help him dominate the game. Like, bro, them knees are never gonna be the same. Them ankles never gonna be the same. Like he's never gonna be 100%, whether he's dealing with an injury or not. Like, he's 38 years old with a ton of mileage.
that's a lot different than like what I think he's dealing with now, though.
No, I agree. I think he's hurt right now, but I don't think that's gonna prevent him from playing next year. Like, I don't think the injury
No,
he has right now
what
is
I'm saying
significant
is
enough to force retirement.
no, what I'm saying is for a guy that's that old and has accomplished everything as he's accomplished, why would you go through like a lengthy, intense rehab to play on a team you don't think is going to win a title? Like
But
if
then
it's
when you
just
come
him
out of
and AD,
retirement, you still gotta force them to trade you. Because
yeah,
the team ain't gonna be in that much of a better situation after the next after 1 year, and they still gonna have your rights.
yeah, but like that's like if you retire, that's a little easier. Like that's we've seen that across sports like all the time. Like they retire for a year, then they get their wet. Like
You're right.
if they don't trade him this offseason, I'm just saying if they don't get Kyrie, I don't think he's gonna put the work in to be ready because we've seen the story now, right? Like, and they have no way to get better unless it's Kyrie Irving. Like, there's no other. Like, what else can they do besides Kyrie Irving? Like, that's it. The trade rumors are like no shot. So
I don't.
what I'm
That's never
saying
gonna
is not
happen.
like the injury is going to cause him to retire. I think it's the injury mixed with like, why would I do this? I played 20 years. I
Okay.
have 4 rings. I get no satisfaction. He said it himself. He gets no satisfaction out of making the conference finals. And like, if you're
And
him,
you shouldn't.
no, you shouldn't. But if you're him, you have to be thinking with my injury, with knowing he's gonna get hurt again. Like I'm
I
sure he
understand where
knows
you're
that at
coming
this
from.
point. How can I win with AD and it's just him and I if he's not willing to take that step, which we now know he's not?
I
Do the
understand where you're
Lakers
coming
have their
from.
pick next season, right?
Yes.
So if the Lakers have the pick next season,
I think they
right?
have their next 3 picks. I could be wrong, but I believe they have their next 3 picks.
Not sure. I'd have to check into that. But
I think they have this year, next year, then they have the 2 way down the line, like 29, 30.
okay. Well, the reason I say that is because that gives the Lakers leverage to call his bluff, right? Like you want to hold leverage over us. Well, look, go get surgery, go sit out. We're gonna bank that AD's probably gonna get hurt or not play enough games to make us competitive, and maybe we just tank, right? And maybe we try to get lucky next year in the fucking draft and find our next franchise cornerstone. But if they don't have their own pick, you know what I'm saying? Then obviously I think that pushes the leverage back in LeBron. So right now, like I said, I just think LeBron really doesn't have any leverage other than the fake retirement or what Scottie Pippen did was like, oh, you don't want to do what I want? Fuck you, I'm getting surgery day one of the season, and now my rehab is gonna cut into most of the regular season. And that's what he ends up doing. Personally, I think he hangs a threat of potential surgery. So you're gonna hear about there's different treatment options with LeBron's injury, right? One of them includes surgery, which might include lengthy rehab. The other one might be rest and rehabilitation. And I expect fucking Chris Haynes to have that report out this week, and LeBron to fucking use that as fucking leverage.
All right, so I just
I
checked on the
think
Lakers draft picks.
good.
It's a
The
factor.
the Pelicans have the right to swap it this year. They obviously not gonna do that. Then the Pelicans have next year, but they have the chance to let the Lakers keep next year's and take the 2025 pick.
So if the Pelicans have swap rights this year, then the Lakers don't have their pick. You know
No,
what I'm
the Lakers
saying?
do have their pick because the
No,
Pelicans
because
have
the
a better
Pelicans
pick than
finished
them.
below him.
Yeah, the Pelicans have a better pick than them. They're not gonna swap.
He's talking about like the draft in like a month.
Oh, they have swap rights for this upcoming
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Then
Okay.
next year the Pelicans own the pick, but they have a option to either take the 2024 or let the Lakers keep it and take the 2025 pick.
Right.
So yeah, so that bows in LeBron's favor. You know what I'm saying?
What I
Because
think.
if they
Oh, go ahead. My bad.
no, I was gonna say because if the Lakers think, oh well, we're gonna bottom out, well then the Pelicans could just scoop that right up, right?
Right.
So there's really no incentive for the Lakers to race to the bottom. They're gonna want to
It
be
is
competitive.
though.
What?
Because you let them take the 2024 pick, and then you have literally every pick
Well,
for the moving forward, and you don't have to worry about the uncertainty in the future.
there's probably a deadline for them to swap that. Like they probably have to decide by the new league year if they're going to switch that or not.
I would
Because
assume they have until the draft lottery at least to see where everything lines up.
I doubt that because like how would the Lakers would be unable to move picks at that point? That
Well,
would change the whole.
the Lakers already can't move those picks because of the conditions on the picks.
Either way, I mean, maybe they do, maybe they don't. I feel like that feels like it probably has to be done before the league year. But either way, like if you're the Pelicans, you're more likely just going to swap that because Braun and AD both expire next offseason, right? So like you're more likely going to be like, yo, give us the 2025. You can keep the 2024. And I think, honestly, I think either way, like if I'm the Lakers and Braun's really doing all this and he's really injured, if Kyrie says no, like Kyrie's plan A, if he says no, I think I ship out both AD and Braun. Because at that point, you've run your course. You have no way to improve. And it's like, what are you gonna do, right? Like you can
And
move
then the
AD,
Pelicans will take the 2024 because you're
right.
gonna bottom out, and then you're good moving forward. That's what I'm
But you
saying.
don't
Like
even
you
need
have
the bottom out.
incentive.
You don't need the because you can
All you gotta
trade
do is be
Bron.
worse than the Pelicans, and they're gonna take that pick.
You can trade Bron. Like you're gonna get. Let's say they take the Warriors deal everyone's talking about. You're gonna get Poole, Kuminga, and Moody. Like Poole can run the show on a team like that. Like I'm not saying they're gonna be like contenders, but like Poole can get you to the play-in. You can ship AD. Like I guarantee you, they could ship AD to New York for Barrett and Randall. If you toss out there Poole, Reeves, Barrett, Randall, and somebody from free agency at center, it's not the greatest team in the world. It's not some contender, but like the Pelicans aren't exactly gung ho about that pick at that point, right? Like,
Yeah.
so
I
I
feel
think
you.
it makes the most sense just to trade him now because if you sit and wait, Bron's gonna leave next year probably, no matter what. So why not? If he really wants to do it in the manner that Kevin O'Connor said that he thinks like Bron wants to do it, why would you not just give like Bron? Like, why would you not take an overvalued deal for Bron and send him to the Bay? And you're
Yeah.
never gonna have more value for AD than this summer, by the way. Like, never gonna have more value.
All right, moving on. We've been on this Brown talk for a while, and we're gonna get right back to it when we talk about the Nuggets. But moving on, Ja Morant. We all woke up to Dion is even crazier for you because you 3 hours behind. X, I never know what time zone you in anymore. You always all over the place. I don't know if that's really your background or if that's a virtual background so you can make it seem like you at home, but we all woke up to Ja Morant with the stories. I don't follow the man, but there was a ton of pages posting the shit. But he basically like showed love to everybody. It was very like with all the mental health shit going on, and then I don't know if y'all saw, but some dude that's supposed to be like Instagram famous committed suicide recently and did something similar right before that where he was like posting, showing mad love and support and everything, and made it seem like he was saying bye to everybody, and then just offed himself, and then Ja Morant went dark. Cops supposedly went to his crib, checked if he was good. Do you think this is a cry for help?
I think it's crisis PR. Look, I want to give Ja Morant the benefit of the doubt, but I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't give him the benefit of the doubt. What I think this is a crisis PR team stepping in and saying, hey, that YouTube guy you just mentioned or that IG famous guy that you just mentioned, let's play off that, right? Let's switch the narrative. Let's turn you into somebody that's worthy of empathy and compassion, right? And let's flip that narrative. And that's what I think that is, right? I just think it's a PR ploy, if I'm being honest. And he's gonna have to prove to me that it's something other than that. And that sounds fucked up to say because there are people legitimately, but it's like, come on, brother. Last time you got caught, you went to rehab for what, 16 hours or 2 days? And I'm supposed to believe that you went in there and sought help. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no, it was a PR ploy then. You're gonna have to prove to me that it's not a PR ploy now. You know what I'm saying? And you can't cry mental health when you get caught. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm sorry.
And this is the second time he got caught in 2 months.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like clearly you didn't learn anything from the first one, right? And let me speak to the coverage as a whole, right? Real quick. I'm not trying to be racy, but they keep bringing up people, yo, all these other players did all this stuff, and why are we trying to, make a villain out of a young black man who technically hasn't done anything illegal when people carry guns in this country all the time? No, right? What they're trying to do is A, stop doing dumb shit. And then B, they're trying to prevent the inevitable of what could happen down the road, right? By you suffering consequences today, hopefully you change your path and you don't go down a path that could ultimately lead to you suffering some real, like, we're not just talking about losing money. We're talking about you losing your freedom or losing your life. You understand what I'm saying? And so it's like, no, like he's on a stupid, reckless path. But then if tomorrow you heard that Ja Morant was murdered, why didn't somebody reach out? It's real tragic what happened to Ja. And he was surrounded by the wrong people and he didn't have the right guidance and there was nobody there to kind of be an OG and check him and put him on the right path towards shit, right? But we always want to do that after somebody already like hits rock bottom and, and the worst case scenario happens. There's probably a lot of people who genuinely just want him to fucking get off the path that he's currently on, which is not a good one, right? Because what he's shown is a lack of judgment. It doesn't mean that John Morant is I don't believe John Morant is a bad person. I think he's incapable of exhibiting good judgment. But all it takes is one moment of poor judgment to land you in a situation that could alter the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Look at the Raiders wide receiver. He just went out to have a good night, right? But he drank. He made the split-second decision to get behind the wheel of his car, felt invincible, ended up killing somebody. Now he's in jail for however long his career is done. His life is over, right? It was a split-second decision because he didn't have good judgment, and he felt like there are no consequences to my actions. So I can just kind of just act with impunity, and nothing's going to happen to me. So that's why when they're like, yo, throw the book at him now, it's like, look, maybe it takes him losing his Nike contract. Maybe it takes him like his wallet being hurt for him to be like, okay, that's the catalyst for change, right? And I think that's why some people, are there people who are whatever is racist? Yes, but I think that's the exception, not the rule. It's easy to look at that. From my perspective, I just don't want Ja to end up in a situation that could really cost him his freedom or his life. And I think that's why he needs to suffer consequences now, if that makes sense.
I think both can be true, right? Like I think first, like everything X said is completely true, obviously, but I also think like everything he's done is an obvious cry for help, right? And like that's kind of like been my stance on the whole thing. And like I have a massive issue with the people that all of a sudden feel sorry for Ja, like, and all of a sudden want Ja to get help, and all of a sudden want the things like the three of us have been talking about since before like the first incident, really. Like I have a huge issue with that because it's like you didn't care then, and now it takes him making a cryptic Instagram post that didn't mean what you thought it meant, first off, for you to care. And it's like this is the same, like when you see a dude drinking a bottle of tequila in the club like it's water, that is a cry for help. I don't care what stupid stuff he does after he's like drunk. Like, yeah, what all the bad stuff he did is, is bad. But it's been a cry for help the whole time. Like the Instagram videos from last summer that I had an issue with that like everyone on Twitter enjoyed, like that was a cry for help. Like all that stuff is a cry for help from an athlete perspective. Maybe, if the three of us went on Instagram Live with a Casamigos bottle talking about like listening to NBA YoungBoy, it's probably not a cry for help, right? But like,
but none of us would be drinking straight out the fucking bottle, drinking the whole bottle, right, type shit. Like,
no, yeah, facts. But like
is it a cry for help or is it examples of added behavior? Because those two things may look the same, but they may not be the same.
I think it can be both. Like I think, but like it's different because like you're right. Like Ja Morant went to rehab for what, like 6 days, maybe 6 hours.
He's a rehabilitated. That's what I was telling you last time. He's allegedly rehabilitated.
Yeah, like and obviously, like if you do it for just like that little amount of time, like you weren't actually seeking help. But the reason I say it's a cry for help is what he's asking for is more help than he's receiving, right? And help for you is going to be different than me. Help for X is going to be different than Lurk. And like this guy needs a lot more help, clearly. And it's going to take him messing up until he hits rock bottom for everyone else to realize that. Maybe this Instagram post is going to be like what changes that narrative. But I think the reaction to the second incident is why he hasn't received the help. Like no one really gets it, right? Like everyone's like, well, he's going to get suspended for 20 to 40 games. I don't think he should be suspended at all. If you told me he lost his Nike contract, I agree with that. Like if you don't want this guy representing you, I completely agree with that. If the Grizzlies were like, yo, we're going to trade him to the Blazers for Scoot Henderson because we don't want this guy a part of our organization, that makes sense. To suspend him, I don't necessarily think he did anything, but I wouldn't want Ja Morant representing me at the moment. Like I think both of those things can be true. But to throw the book at him, he was being called a thug. Like some of the stuff is like a little too far for me. It's just a little too far. And then you have, I don't know. It really, 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 I don't know how y'all feel about it. It really rubbed me the wrong way when people are like, like, I just hope he's okay. Like this is a year plus of like this dude isn't okay.
See, that's probably why it bothers us more than a lot of people, or probably anybody, because it's like we've been saying this shit for so long while so many people supported the antics. So many people took it as entertainment, supported it, asked for more of it. While we're like, yo, bro, there's something wrong with this kid. He's going down the wrong path. He's making very bad decisions. He needs to chill out. He needs to get help. He needs to check the people around him. And we spoke a lot about it last time Dion X wasn't here, but like based off the last video, I ain't even completely mad at his friend. Like, granted, you could have not pulled your camera out, but son tried to hold it down when he saw Ja doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like, and then the first incident a couple of months ago with the gun, it was him being just dumb. Like, you went on your own live, bro. And then obviously strip club did some scumbag shit, leaked the security footage, but you went on your own live the first time. This ain't even when we was talking about how this dude need help and he need to think more and everything we've been saying for so long. This was other people calling him and him making poor decisions, other people dragging him into shit a lot of the time. This is all just him being a fucking idiot right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether it's a cry for help or not, I don't know. It's hard for me to take shit genuine from him based off to the way he responded and has behaved since the first incident with the gun. It's not even like his whole track record, because I'm not gonna sit here and judge you that hard. Bro, we all been there, did stupid shit, especially he's young with money. But like the way you handled the first situation and then you get caught up again, and this time it just so happened to be that your friend is recording on live while you being a fucking idiot. And you knew he was on live because you looked at the fucking phone.
If like you know what's changed, bro? Like remember when Ricky Williams? I mean, I'm older, so maybe I remember it more.
Nah, I know
Ricky, when Ricky Williams was playing football, right? He kept getting hit for marijuana infractions, right? Now to hear him talk is like, yo, he had crippling anxiety, right? And it's like he needed the weed just to be able to step outside and be around people. And at that point, it wasn't about money. It's just about being able to live his life comfortably. But at the time, we're like, that's poor judgment. That's poor judgment. That's poor judgment. He's a dickhead. He needs to fucking like, bro, what are you doing? You throwing shit away and money in your career for weed?
Just
what
for weed, yeah. I
right?
was even one of those. I was young too, but I was
We
one
all
of those
were.
people like, yo, you wasn't young, but we was
But you
all
know
on
what
some shit
changed?
like.
But you know what's changed, right? People like Kevin Love, people like DeMar DeRozan, right? Where if it is a mental health issue, there are people out there advocating for mental health awareness, right? There are ways that you can get that message out to kind of help contextualize some of the decisions that you make and some of your actions. So if it really was about mental health, it's very easy to make us understand that, right? But I hate when or at least, but if you go to rehab for 3 days, that doesn't tell me mental health.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? So you can't use mental health as a crutch without me seeing the bite. Like I know that Kevin Love is going to therapy and DeMar DeRozan spoken about needing help and all these things, right? You know that they're taking that shit serious. What have we seen from Ja to show like, yo, he sought help or anything? No. Now, maybe step one is just admitting that maybe you need the help, right? So I don't know. But I think we're quick to kind of give these players crutches and kind of be like, oh, what if it's mental health, should we be more cautious? And it's like sometimes you know what I'm saying? Like we've given him every opportunity to kind of show us what the fuck is going on. And all he keeps showing us is like, yo, I make terrible fucking decisions.
Oh,
I'm young.
no, yeah, I
I'm
agree with
stupid,
you.
I got money. I feel invincible. And y'all can't touch me.
Real quick though, like on the mental health aspect of it, because like one, I'm not trying to give him a crutch for it being mental health. Like I straight up, like I believe if I'm Nike, I'm Powerade, I'm the Grizzlies, I don't want him representing me and whatever that were to mean, right? Like I think he got his shoe pulled, right? Like
well, see, that's the funny
Allegedly.
thing. They took his sneaker off the website, but they haven't made no announcement about pulling his contract. They haven't said nothing about pulling his sneaker, taking away his signature, nothing. They just pulled it from the website.
Okay, I mean the shoe is tough, but
I did like it. I ain't gonna lie.
I fucks with the shoe. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I don't want to give him a crutch because like I do think he fucked up and he continues to do so. But like what I will say is like DeMar DeRozan and Kevin Love spoke out after they turned 30. In Love's case, I believe like shortly after. In DeMar DeRozan's case, it took a little longer. This kid's only 23. He has the weight of the world on his shoulders. He has a ton of money. Um, he has some people in his camp that are probably good for him, some people that probably aren't. Like, I think the reason I think it's a cry for help and the reason why I won't hold, like, I won't say it's not mental health is I genuinely believe unless someone is willing to have like the harshest of harsh conversations with this kid, he's going to have to reach rock bottom. And that's exactly, he's currently spiraling and we're watching it live and no one's willing to have like those conversations with him. Maybe they can't, maybe the right person hasn't like come around that can do it. You never really know what it is, like what the case is, because everybody's different. But I don't think it's not mental health yet either.
That's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, right? I don't know.
I don't know. And look, I don't want to be a hypocrite here, like, but somebody needs to step in, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing that, right? It's just somebody in his life needs to step in. A, somebody needs to be willing to step up, and B, he needs to be willing to actually listen, right? It has to be somebody that he respects. From what I understand, there's been, either retired players or current vets that have reached out. Your man, Simba, a rapper, you know what I'm saying? I think he released a freestyle about it, which is actually pretty, you know what I'm saying? Like, he spoke some real shit on it. So people are trying, but he has to be willing to listen, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. Yeah. I hope it works out for him. I don't think Giles a fucking thug or the complete opposite. I think he's just young, right? He's just young and stupid in some ways. And it's like, yo, sometimes it takes a slap upside the head. Sometimes it takes a stern talking to. But sometimes you fucking get behind the wheel of a car and some tragedy happens and then the decision gets taken out of your hands. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it doesn't come to that.
That's why I don't want him suspended. I don't think a 40-game suspension actually benefits Ja Morant in this situation. No. He should be suspended to only being in the facility. I think Lurk might have said that. Like, the suspension should be the opposite. He shouldn't be allowed to leave. It should be one of them like, I used to get them all the time, an in-school suspension. Like, you're having too much fun at the crib, you're getting suspended on purpose, you have to stay now. That's what
that was you that said that last time. That wasn't me.
Okay,
that was you. Yeah. That was your idea. Yeah,
no, that's what he needs. He shouldn't be allowed to leave. He needs to be like, basketball is his that's his therapy, right? Like, that's his getaway. It's the only way he knows how to like free his mind at the moment. So until he finds a way to relax off the court, to free himself of the stresses and the anxiety, etc., like, he should not be suspended. A 40-game suspension and telling this kid, yo, you have until February by yourself, it's not going to only be 40 games when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I'm checking right now, and it's still like, when you search for the sneaker,
I think Nike, look, let's be honest. We know what Nike's doing. Nike is waiting and seeing, right?
Nah, I think they're going to, I think they're still going to let it drop, though, because it doesn't show, like, they haven't made no announcement about pushing the release date back, taking the signature shoe away, or nothing, right? And then they already have, like, where you could buy it on third parties. You could look at the prices already. And then I just found through the sneakers website, which is reputable because sneakers app, Nike app, all that shit is valid, right? The sneakers website has a link in the article to take you to Nike where you could turn it on, where it notifies you when they drop it. And it says on the Nike website, when you click that link, that they still dropping tomorrow. But if you try to go through the Nike website directly, for some reason, it don't pop up.
I think X is right. Like, they're waiting and seeing. Like, if he
Yeah, I think it all depends.
I mean,
on
the
what
worst case
happens with.
scenario is the same worst case scenario as the first incident. Where was he before he went live?
Yeah, and that's been my whole shit. Is like, but well, not even that though, bro. Because all right, so like the
No, that is
NBA
the worst
suspends
case
him, right?
scenario because
No, no, for his
if he
career,
was at
right?
the Grizzlies facility, he's done.
No, yeah, he's done NBA wise, right? Because they're gonna suspend him and shit. But that doesn't necessarily guarantee that he loses the shit with Nike. I don't think that, at least for me, in my opinion, I think it more so depends on what does this look like for his fandom and his superstardom when the dust settles. Is it worth staying on board with him, or should they just kick rocks and dip off?
Here's the thing: the percentage of people who just don't care, who don't think he's done anything wrong, is the vast majority. There's a
That's my
small
whole
percentage
point.
of us. Yeah, so let's
That's my
be
whole
honest.
point. So it's like,
He's the
I
most
don't think Nike
marketable
cares.
American. He's the most marketable American basketball player that there is.
So that's my whole point. Is I don't think that if the NBA, we wake up tomorrow, the NBA suspends him for 50 games, right? I don't think that necessarily guarantees he loses his deal with Nike.
I think it does because you have to remember this isn't 5 years ago where Adidas was the company that's making the jerseys for the NBA, right? Like the NBA
Oh
and
yeah, you're right.
Nike is like if the NBA is like, yo, this dude's suspended for 40 games, and Nike's response is, hey, here's the Ja one, that next deal is gonna look a lot different.
So real quick, just it's kind of off topic, but it's still on the same subject. Real quick, do you think that had any part in Nike's decision to immediately dub Kyrie with the retweet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well,
Absolutely.
everything is
Because that's
money.
not something, because I don't think that's something we spoke. Nah, but that's just, I don't think that was something that we spoke about as a factor when we was talking about it when it happened.
It's who you want representing you, right? Like it just is what it is. Like you know, you gave Nike gave Kyrie every opportunity to not say stupid shit, and he just refused to do it. And now they've given Ja every opportunity to not have a gun on Instagram Live, and he refuses
Yeah,
to do
he's
it.
just a fucking idiot, bro.
So it's like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I don't think Ja did anything wrong. If we're being completely honest, like I don't agree with what Kyrie did, but is what Kyrie did like
No, it's
wrong?
not.
It's not
No.
wrong, but like if I'm Nike, I don't want him representing me either. Like there's
No,
so
yeah,
many players in the
it's all
league.
about optics and money.
Yeah,
Right.
you know
But
what it is? It's
but
just
see, it was clear
juvenile
that
behavior. He's
but
behaving like every 14-year-old in the hood.
no, but see, I think that with the Kyrie situation, especially especially with the exact demographic that it targeted, like him retweeting that, because what he retweeted was targeting a certain group and it was anti-Semitic, right? But him retweeting it with no context, I don't think was that bad. But what he was retweeting, right, was the issue,
Yeah.
right? So with that, I think that immediately, like, it's clear this is gonna affect our bottom line, especially like we're talking about Jewish people, like this is like they have a lot of influence. Like whether you want to interpret that as something negative, that's up to you. But they have a lot of influence, and we've seen it with countless people. Look at what happened with Nick Cannon. Like when you say certain things in a negative light, regardless of how you personally feel about what is said or what was done, like that is going to have a tremendous effect on things. What Kyrie did was clear. It was gonna affect Nike's bottom line if they stood on board with him, at least in their eyes. So they immediately jumped shit. I don't think Ja getting suspended automatically like makes that clear. Even with like the NBA, who's to say Adam Silver is
That
even
shoe
really like cares that much? Like
that shoe won't drop if it's a half season suspension though. That's not me saying Nike like kicks him off the roster, gets rid of the contract. This specific shoe will not drop if he's gonna miss half the season or more. Like that's what they're waiting on. Like
because him wearing it is the main reason why he's
yeah,
getting
I
it.
mean, you don't want to have a suspended player like running around town like doing because there's going to be a media tour. It's not like you just drop the shoe, right? So you don't want to have a guy that's like And if you're Ja, you don't want that. Like you don't want to be going on every like sports show to sell your shoe to kids and whatnot, and only answer your question is like, yo, what's going on with this 40 game suspension, right? Like that doesn't benefit the NBA, it doesn't benefit Ja, it doesn't benefit Nike. So
Yo,
unless it's like a short suspension, I don't think that shoe's dropping anytime
yo,
soon.
with your sports management background, just quick question. Say Ja gets suspended, right, for however many games. Can he pull a Kyrie with the COVID shit and still show up as a fan?
No, you're banned from the arena,
You're banned from team facilities, right? So does that count
which
like
would
just
be the
as you as a
arena.
civilian? Like, so he can't even buy a ticket type shit.
Nah.
Okay.
Well, that's and that plus, like you asking for trouble at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, they would.
Look who we talking about though. Like,
No, but if the Grizzlies were smart, like they tell him not even to be in Tennessee, right? Like if he were to miss half the
go to
season,
South
like
Carolina.
he'll go home, or he'll spend it in LA, or he'll go to Florida, or he won't be in Tennessee though. He'll probably honestly he'll probably be in LA.
He's gonna turn into another rapper.
No, I mean listen,
Either
I don't
NBA
think
players love turning into rappers.
I don't think him getting a 40 game suspension is good for him, the person, by any means. I think that's dangerous. Also, if it were to be 40, he's gonna do something stupid in between,
But
and it's gonna
only
wind up being the whole year.
only way they even have a chance in suspending him for a significant amount of time, because obviously they have the power to suspend him regardless. They suspended him for what, 8 games last time the NBA decided.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the power to do something, right? But like X, you said if you throw the book at him now, he learned his lesson, right? If he wasn't on team facilities, what can you do now that you couldn't do before?
and by throw the
It's
book, I'm like
repeat
it's
offender.
No,
for like
I
19.
understand. No, I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying like we like that has a negative connotation. So I understand you trying to clear it up when you hear somebody else say you like, whoa, but that's what you said. So, but like, how much can the NBA really penalize him? I was asking Dion this last time. If they doing a investigation, right? You find out he was never at any team facilities. What can you really do that you didn't do before?
He's a repeat offender,
Yeah,
right?
but yeah. I mean, I hate that term too, but
But it's not. It's
I
not
mean,
like
and
he.
now
It's
I
not.
understand what you're saying,
But
but
it's the same thing. It's not
yeah,
like
but
he's
what
just a
can you
repeat
really
offender. It's the
do?
same exact thing.
But what can you really do? I assume you would know more with your sports
you could
management
you could
background
you could suspend anybody for whatever you want. There doesn't need to.
because
You
he's a repeat
prefer
offender.
from a
Yeah, but you
legal
know
standpoint.
but you know that exactly. You know, if they while out, the NBA Players Association is gonna appeal it. It's gonna end up in court.
No,
Like
the
it's gonna be a
appeals.
bunch of bullshit.
The appeal's not what you worry about. The worst case scenario, and Ja would never do this. Like the NBA PA probably doesn't even appeal the suspension because he's an idiot, right? Like he's not just a repeat offender. It's the same exact thing. It's not like it's the same exact. The only difference is it was in a car instead of a strip club. It's the same thing. So like they can suspend him whatever they want. The worst case scenario would be if Ja says, "Yo, this violates my contract with this," and then he chooses to sue the NBA. What type of idiot would he have to be to do that though, right? Like that was the threat Deshaun had holding over the NFL, where it's like, yo, if you suspend me for a full season, like I might. It's not even an appeal. It's like I'm willing to go to the highest of courts to prove like I didn't do this, I don't deserve a suspension, blah blah blah. Ja did it. We got the video. Like there's there's nothing to prove. Like there's no innocence for him. Like he did it. If Adam Silver says you're out 41 games, he's out 41 games. And like the thing to keep in mind, like the point that I can't get off of my mind after watching the Adam Silver interview is you have to remember two things. One, Adam Silver is about to leave the office. Like that couldn't be more clear. Like this is probably going to be his last major decision as a commissioner. I think he's going to go run Disney. And
And then
if he's
Mark
going to go
Tatum
run
takes over.
Disney, huh?
Mark Tatum takes over.
I think it's going to
I
be,
think we
I think him
spoke
and the
about
Disney
this a
dude are going
minute
to,
ago.
I think him and the Disney dude are gonna fucking switch jobs. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like I think Bob Iger or whatever is gonna be the commissioner of the NBA.
NBA is
But
not gonna go for that.
like Adam Silver is definitely gone. Like it couldn't be more clear. This is gonna be his last major decision. No matter what he does, he cannot say you look better suspending Ja for the season, and Ja does more stupid stuff than you do giving Ja 5-game suspension, 10-game suspension, 15-game suspension, and then Ja does something else stupid, right?
Kind of
Whatever
like
Adam
when
Silver's thinking in his mind, his assumption is Ja's going to do this again. So it's like, I have to lay the book down now because this reflects me now. I can't be the guy that allowed him to be in the facility. And the next thing you know, he brings a gun into the facility, right? That falls on Silver. So I think it's going to be a hefty one. And the other thing to keep in mind, Disney owns the TV contract at the moment. That shit's up in a year. You think Disney wants Ja Morant on TV right now?
Tough to say. Disney be having a lot of questionable shit on TV.